Syracuse Orange fans, can you feel the heat?
Syracuse and Western Michigan inside the Carrier Dome, and Syracuse wouldn't hesitate to get the scoring going early. That's the senior running back, Mo Neal, waltzing into the end zone. Syracuse opens up the ball game with a score, but now it's Tommy DeVito, the redshirt sophomore quarterback, 10-5 touchdown. He shows off his wheels on the design quarterback run, and Syracuse fans are saying, is that Eric Dungy? No. That's Tommy DeVito. He's got legs, and he has Syracuse up big, 21-0. But Western Michigan, it's the running back Levante Bellamy, easily down the left side into the end zone, and they are right back in this football game. But now Tommy DeVito dropping back, pressure coming, evading it. He lets one fly down the right side, and it's complete. Touchdown, Syracuse. The Michigan State transfer, Tristan Jackson, able to bring it in. Tommy DeVito with absolute pocket poise, evading the pressure, taking the hit, and Tristan Jackson goes up and makes a phenomenal catch now in the second half. Western Michigan lingering in this ball game. Guess who? It's Bellamy once again. The 10-5 touchdown for him. Western Michigan still in the contest, but Syracuse, screen pass to Tristan Jackson. Stiff arms a man's face into the ground. He's easily walking into the end zone. And Syracuse with a big-time response. The fans absolutely love it. A big offensive outgoing for the first time this season. Syracuse would go on to win this ball game 52-33 inside the Carrier Dome. What is going on, Cuse Nation? Welcome to yet another edition of Orange Heat. My name's Giovanni Heater, as always, and thank you for joining me. Now, before we dive into this post-game Western Michigan episode, I do want to ask you guys, slam that thumbs up button and give it a like. Hit the little bell so that you can get notified on every single Orange Heat episode. And please, comment and subscribe as always. The support is so much appreciated. The channel's growing. Orange Nation is loving it. I'm loving it. And I love you guys. So thank you so much for all the support and keep it up. Now, let's talk some Syracuse football. We are back, baby. And I can say that with confidence because for the first time since last season, I saw Syracuse football play in a dominating fashion on the offensive side of the football, in a manner they played with extreme confidence, and they played playing out well. And it was really exciting to see, and we hadn't seen it since really the bowl game last year. It's the first time this season, the first time we've seen it this year under Tommy DeVito, the new offense, and it was just fantastic. So let's look at the stats before we dive into the rest of the game. Syracuse beats Western Michigan inside the Carrier Dome this past Saturday. Final score 52-33 in favor of the Orange. Tommy DeVito absolutely goes off in this game. 27 for 35, 287 yards, 4 touchdowns, and the beautiful thing about it, it was all done with 0 interceptions. His first game so far this season with no turnovers. And he just flat out played phenomenal football. I think this is the best we've ever seen him play. He just looked poised. He looked confident. He looked like a leader out there. And no longer did you have a situation where I was nervous to see Tommy out there for the fact that he looked nervous and he looked uncomfortable. Not the case this past Saturday. He dominated right from the line of scrimmage. A lot of things we're going to talk about as to why he was able to do that. A lot of the new plays they implemented and things like that. But let's keep looking at the stats. Tommy DeVito also had 9 carries for 85 yards in this ball game, and you got to look at that. Like, that would have been over 100 yards if they hadn't count the sack yardage. So they have to deduct every time he gets sacked There you go. Winds up with 85 yards and 1 touchdown on the ground. That's 5 total touchdowns for Tommy Terrific, our golden boy. Very good to see him play that well on Saturday. We got a bunch of good nicknames for him. Our good fella, if anybody's seen the movie Goodfellas, Tommy DeVito is one of the main characters. Obviously, Joe Pesci plays him, but same name, kind of cool. Jersey boy. We could come up with a ton of different nicknames for Tommy Touchdown. There's another one. Looking at the run game, Mo Neal, 26 carries, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Big time play out of the senior. Excited to see the run game get going. We'll take a look at that later on in the episode. Abdul Adams, 9 carries, 85 yards. Jarvian Howard, 4 carries. He made the most of it with 19 yards. Now, looking at the receiving game was absolutely huge. My man, Tristan Jackson, 6 receptions, 141 yards, 2 touchdowns on the game. He wound up being ACC wide receiver of the week. He came out and was electric. He captivated the Carrier Dome crowd, took full advantage of it, and he continued to put points up on the board and put Syracuse in good positions offensively. So great play out of him. Another exciting thing to see in the receiving core was Aaron Hackett. This guy goes out, 6 receptions for 48 yards and 2 touchdowns on the day. Really a career game for him. And it was really cool to see the tight end game be implemented more than we usually see. We might see our tight end get targeted, 2, 3, 4 times a game typically. Aaron got plenty of targets. He corralled 6 passes, 48 yards. And the big thing there, 2 touchdowns. A shovel pass and a nice one where he just ran a nice route. Tommy puts it right in the breadbasket. It was about maybe 10 yards out. Excellent drawn-up play. And Aaron Hackett, have yourself a day, my friend. I'd really like to see them implement the tight end some more because it was absolutely working on Saturday inside the Carrier Dome. Taj Harris, he goes 4 receptions, 38 yards. Sean Riley goes 4 receptions, 31 yards. Abdul Adams, 2 receptions for 26 yards. My question here, the one takeaway out of the receiving corps, because it was phenomenal, is where's Nykeem? Okay, a little bit, I was really looking forward to him this year. He was one of the leading receivers last year. Last year, he was really that deep ball target besides Custis. But as far as pure speed and running a straight route, Nykeem was your guy last year, and he took a lot of those in. And, Tommy didn't help him the first 3 weeks, and the offensive line didn't help him. But we really haven't seen Nykeem this year. So he's been out there. He just hasn't caught the passes and been targeted all that much. So we'll see what happens. I would like to see Nykeem get a little bit more of a burn here on the field when he's out there for the Orange, though, this upcoming week and going forward throughout this season. Now if there's anything to nitpick, which is that's what we got to do, let's look at this. Abdul Adams and Mo Neal, they both fumble in this ball game. Just got to hang on to the football. There's not much I can say that's going to fix that. You just got to hang on to the football because in tougher ACC games, losing possessions like that could be critical towards the end of the game. And that has been proven time in and time out when we've played Clemson and other close games that we've been in. That's straight across the board, any sport, really. You have to hang on to your possessions and really value those possessions. Our running backs had a little bit of butterfingers this past Saturday, but it's okay. We were certainly able to get past it. Looking at the defensive side of the football, Evan Foster leads the team in tackles with 8. And he also had a tackle for loss on the day. Big stuff out of him. I love it. They call him NyQuil. Good. He hits hard. Good seeing him out there. This is his first time this season leading the team in tackles. Mike L. Jones was in second, and a lot of guys were tied with him. Trill Williams, Lakeem Williams was in there. But Mike L. Jones, the freshman, with 6 tackles, doing big contributions, really. And a tackle for loss as well. It was exciting to see Mike L. Jones do big things in just his freshman year. He has a very mature body, and you can see it because he's kind of big out there. But this linebacker core has played well at times when you needed him to. Lakeem, Armstrong, and obviously Mike L. Jones. So that was exciting to see. And then the team finishes off the day with 3 sacks. That's a big positive takeaway for me. It's not the 8 that we had against Liberty, but this is an offensive line that's better than Liberty's when you're talking Western Michigan. And we got the pressure. And, it wasn't a sack every time, but the pressure was consistently there, and we were kind of up Western Michigan's rear a little bit with the pressure, and that was big. 3 team sacks. Now, Western Michigan side of the football, let's take a look at their stats just a little bit here. Western Michigan, Wasink, very good quarterback, 23 for 46. I mean, we deflected just under half of his passes went incomplete. That's a positive takeaway in the secondary, which we'll talk about in a second, but is a very depleted secondary. He goes 356 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Eric Coley, shout out to you, my man. Guy, his dad was on the coaching staff. He plays at FM High School here in Syracuse for a bit, gets a job at an opportunity at Syracuse. His dad's there, but he's getting himself on the field, and the man came up with a big-time interception against Western Michigan. So good stuff out of him. Western Michigan has an outstanding running back, and I mean outstanding running back in Bellamy. He's elusive. He's fast, but he can be powerful when he needs to. He has a very good ability at breaking tackles. He goes 15 carries for 165 yards and 2 touchdowns, and it could have been much more had he not got injured. That was something really interesting. They also had a big-time guy, plays both ways, injured in this ball game, so the game could have been a little bit different. The guy I'm talking about, that's their star player as well. Had the injuries not helped in Syracuse favor, but we'll take it. And then another guy that really impressed me for the Broncos was Giovanni Ricci. So he's got the same name as me. That's not the only reason I'm talking about him, though. He carries 8 receptions and 105 yards for a touchdown. So big play out of him. It was interesting to see. They really targeted their tight end a lot. He was a big part of their scheme, especially on 3rd down. When they needed those yards. So that was kind of something interesting, cool to see, something I kind of would like to see Syracuse do a little bit more. Now, first downs tied, even deadlock, 25 first downs for the Broncos, 25 for the Orange. Western Michigan, 7 for 16 on 3rd down. Syracuse, 8 for 16. Pretty deadlocked there. Interesting thing, though, to me, Western Michigan goes 1 for 5 on 4th down. And you know what that tells me? That tells me that our defense played very well down the stretch when they needed to and made the stops they needed to make. Yes, they let in 33 points. That's a fact. But down the stretch, they made the big plays that they needed to make. They caused 4 turnovers in this ball game, which was absolutely huge. 3 fumbles and an interception. Western Michigan, 557 total yards. Syracuse, 545 when you're talking offensively. Syracuse, I really like how Syracuse was able to balance the run and the pass game. 287 passing yards, 258 rushing yards for the Orange. That's almost split even, right down the middle. So that shows you're having success in both departments. And that makes you all that much more deadly and all that much more dangerous to opposing defenses. If you can threaten both on the ground and through the air, that's a recipe for success in college football 110% of the time because they can't just cover you one way. You're not a one-dimensional offense. You're a very deep, two-dimensional offense, and Syracuse showed that against Western Michigan big time, so good stuff there. Western Michigan goes 8 for 8 penalties for 80 yards. Felt like much more, I got to say, because a lot of the times they were having 15-yarders just tacked on. So interesting there. You could make the case they were playing a little bit on the chippy, dirty side with some of the late hits out of bounds and stuff like that. Things got vocal a few times, but Syracuse, this is a situation we need to improve on. It's kind of a discipline thing. Also, the inexperience on the offensive line. 11 penalties for 103 yards for the Orange. That's big. The attendance in this ball game, 40,700 was the set attendance. I was at the game. I got to say, there's no way it was 40,700. They must have counted the tickets sold. Shout out to those in Orange Nation that did show up. It was loud on 3rd down, but definitely not the same crowd as Clemson. we got to get there, guys, because you guys still got to support the team. Yeah, they were playing Western Michigan, but they need that morale, and going to the Dome's fun. So let's get there, Cuse Nation. Now, let's take a look at our flames of the game. Flame of the game. Our offensive flame of the game is going to go to none other than your redshirt sophomore quarterback, Tommy DeVito. There's no way you could say it's not him. 5 total touchdowns, over 300, almost 400 yards of total offense. I mean, this kid played like an absolute stud in this ball game, and he had a big-time coming-out party, and he put a lot of confidence into my brain as to what this team could do, because now he's shown us he can perform at that level we thought he could. He's got to keep it up. He's going to get our flame of the game against Western Michigan. Our defensive flame of the game is going to go to Alton Robinson. This is a guy, I got to talk about Alton for a second here. First, I'll spit his stats at you. He had 6 tackles in this game, 1.5 sacks, and 3 tackles for loss against the Broncos, and that includes a forced fumble. He just smacked it right out of the Wassink's hands. He does that a lot. He gets a lot of strip sacks throughout his years, so that was really cool to see. And I got to talk about Alton for a second. Alton, a guy, he's an NFL talent. He's going to play downs on Sundays in the National Football League, period, end of story. Because of that reason, a lot of the time he finds himself double-teamed. Teams are going to do that, sometimes up to triple-teamed, right? And so what he does is typically he's creating opportunities for his other guys on the defensive line to make big plays because he's double-teamed. And that's why you see guys like Josh Black and Kendall Coleman having so much success. And Kendall Coleman's capable of doing the same thing, but Alton really is drawing all that attention, but it was good to see him still dominate after drawing all that attention. This was kind of a coming out party for him this season. This is the best we've seen him play so far this year, was in this game against Western Michigan. So big stuff there, guys. All I can say is we are back, and I'm saying that with 100% confidence, because we needed that big game to show. And you could say, okay, the offense played good. Well, the offense played phenomenal. I don't think you could have had or asked for a better game out of the offense besides maybe the fumble, really. Looking at our special teams, Andre Schmidt goes 1 for 1 on field goals, 7 for 7 on PATs, 10 total points scored by your Lou Grozo Award kicker. And then Sterling Hofstrichter had a long punt of 54 yards. That guy, both of them are going to play downs in the NFL. That guy can boot the football. He can put it high, he can put it far, and he can do it all at the same time. Definitely one of the nation's top punters, and it's really a slept-on position because it's so important to play that field position battle. It can help you so much, and Sterling Hofstrichter puts us in a fantastic position to do that. So, looking at the defensive side of the football, they allow 33 points, sure. But I think that, first of all, 4 turnovers is big. And I think they did really good considering what they had. People are forgetting, Andre Cisco did not play in this game. Your All-American, nation-leading in interceptions safety did not play in this game. A lower body injury. And right next to him, Ifeatu Melifonwu, same thing. Did not play in this ball game. Again, a lower body injury. Also, McKinley Williams still out on the defensive line. So considering what this defense was hyped up to be, yeah, they shouldn't have given up that many to Michigan. But McKinley Williams wasn't on the D-line. Whatever. We got gashed, okay? But this Western Michigan game, if those guys are in the game, there's no way you could convince me, even if just Cisco and Melifonwu were in the game, there's no way you can convince me they would have put up 33 points. No way, especially not that many yards and points through the air. Our secondary is that good. Cisco would have made plays. Melifonwu definitely is capable of making plays. And you got a Cordy came out of this game as well with an injury. So the stature on these guys is kind of a question mark right now, as well as Sam Heckel at the moment. Beautiful thing is, I'm under the belief that you sit these guys out this upcoming weekend against Holy Cross, a team that we should pummel into the ground, literally. This is a lower-level FCS opponent. This is not your top dog, and we'll get into an FCS Holy Cross preview. But I think you sit these guys out against Holy Cross. You let our guys that are capable out there do the job. You let these guys rest up because you have a bye week the next week as well. 2 weeks of rest could be absolutely colossal. 3 weeks of rest for Cisco and Melifonwu before you get into your absolute gauntlet of ACC play. Now, it's nothing crazy, actually. I shouldn't have said gauntlet because we have one of the easier ACC schedules besides Clemson, and the ACC's down right now. But nonetheless, before you get into the thick of it, really, I think it would be to the benefit to let these guys sit out this week unless they are 100,000,000% full go. There's no sense in risking anything here. And the bye week kind of falls at a spot. It's nice. It's much needed where it is. So it's really nice that we get it right there. That's big time. I'm very excited for Syracuse football now. Once again, we showed that we can put points on the board, something I was very scared about. We showed that we can do it. We have to do it week in and week out. We can do it. And I'm excited, and we have some athletic players. Tommy absolutely balled out. He had spurts where he looked like Aaron Rodgers out there, and then he looked like Kyler Murray running the football. Like his 62-yard touchdown pass to Tristan Jackson he just evades the pressure just like it's nothing, just steps up and then slings it. Like it literally looked like Aaron Rodgers was out there. It was incredible, and it was one of the best plays I've ever seen him make. He's got a cannon of an arm. We have a quarterback. It's going to take a couple weeks. Dino said by week 4, 5, 6 is when things really get going. They got going, and they're going to continue to get going. I'm very excited for this upcoming weekend against Holy Cross because I think it's going to be another offensive showing, an absolute blowout. I can't wait. We're going to get a preview and prediction on that, though, as always. Guys, keep going active. Like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys watching the video and always being up for some Orange Heat. Love talking college football. Leave some comments in there. Any questions, concerns. But the Orange are back, baby. Back on top, showing what we can do, scoring the football. One thing I didn't talk about. Forgot to talk about this. Oh, my God. I can't believe I forgot to talk about this. Run-pass option. Absolutely huge. The offensive coordinators put in glimpses of Eric Dungy, basically. They reverted back to last year's playbook to some extent. We used the run-pass option a lot in this game, and we even used design runs for DeVito, something we hadn't seen in the previous weeks. That was really cool to see. I hope they keep using that because DeVito's got some wheels, man. DeVito has some wheels, and he's a smarter runner than Dungy. We can have him for more of a long run, but he can run the football. Let him do it. It makes you 10 times more deadly offensively, and it makes guys have to prepare for you in different ways. So keep it up. Support this team, and as always, let's go Orange, baby. Whoa.
Thank you for listening to Orange Heat, done by pursuing sports broadcaster and high school student Giovanni Heater. You can find him on Twitter and Instagram at GeoHeater. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more Syracuse athletics and Orange Heat action. Let's go Orange!